Good afternoon. This is the House Appropriations Committee. It is Friday, March 21st, 2025. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock. We are finishing up the last couple of bills that we have in our committee to vote them out. We had 6 bills this morning and we're down to 2. So good job, team. So this is H479, an act relating to housing. What we've asked, as we're doing with many of the other bills we have, is taking the money out because we'll deal with them in our budget. And so that's what the amendment should be. And then we can pass the bill out and it can go along and then the money will be in our budget when we get to that. So, Cameron, all yours.
Good afternoon, Cameron Wood, Office of Legislative Counsel. This is so important. I want to comment. This is so important that I am missing my alma mater's basketball game currently.
And who's that?
University of Alabama, they're playing currently. So if I look down here, you know, I'm following the vice chair's lead. I'll have the game right here.
Broadcast just down.
Exactly.
Jim.
All right.
Cheers from here.
Yes, if I'll pause, you know, and
They're
get updates.
They're
So,
winning so far, so you're okay.
okay.
You can help them later a little bit when they need it.
So what I have here is an amendment for the committee, and I have shared this. It should be on your webpage. It's draft 1.1. What was requested was to remove all of the appropriations, including the tax credits. Because we're removing the sections related to tax credits, I got into a little bit of a dance I had to do with the amendment from Ways and Means.
Oh.
If you recall, the amendment from Ways and Means, their recommendation is to sunset those tax credits. There were 4 amendments in their recommendation. 3 of them had to deal with the tax credits. And the other one had to deal with removing the municipal 1% tax authority on short-term rentals. Because of that, it became kind of a how do we fit this puzzle together? I spoke with the clerk of the House, and we had a few conversations about what is the best way to accomplish what this committee would like to accomplish. And her and I worked out, and I will just give her a special thanks for her support and expertise in this. What I have here is an amendment where this committee would recommend to substitute the recommendation from Ways and Means with this amendment. So it's not a, kind of standard what you all, typically do. It's a little bit unique, but this committee would recommend to substitute the recommendation from Ways and Means. And first, in the first instance here, so I'm just going to walk through the instances of amendment here. This is in section 4, which is the Universal Design Study Committee. There was an appropriation of $15,000 in that section. So I have struck that section and I have inserted this language here. So it would be notwithstanding subsection G, which is where it authorizes per diems to be issued. Per diems for the cost of attending meetings shall only be available in the event an appropriation is made in fiscal year 2026 from the general fund to the Department of Housing and Community Development for that purpose. And I'm going to keep going unless there are any questions.
I am texting the chair of House Ways and Means to let her know that this is what we're thinking of doing and seeing what happens when I say that.
And this all happened in the past, hour. So
Right.
Apologies for not giving you a heads up.
That's okay. You can ask me about the tax credits.
Okay. The second instance of amendment is where we would be striking the section related to the tax credits in the underlying bill. So second instance by striking section 6 and its reader assistance heading and inserting a new section 6 to be deleted. This is the tax credit section. The third instance of amendment is actually incorporating what Ways and Means was proposing, the removal of the 1% tax authority for municipalities on short-term rentals. So we're just striking that section and its reader assistance heading and inserting deleted. I'm moving to the top of page 2. The fourth instance of amendment is in section 19. This is the VHFA offsite construction report. So we are in subsection A, we're going to strike this sentence where it appropriates $250,000 to DHCD to grant to VHFA for the purpose of building out those recommendations. So that section will remain, it will be expected of VHFA to do the work. However, we're going to insert a new section 19A, which states that the duty to implement that section is contingent upon appropriating funds in fiscal year 2026 to DHCD to grant to VHFA for the purposes of issuing that report. So adding a section saying you're not going to be required to do this work if we're not appropriating funds for that purpose.
Now I'm back with you. I've sent my text, just to remind me which instance of amendment you're on.
I am on, well, I got all the way down to the fifth,
Okay,
which
that's
is
right.
on
Okay.
page 2. Yeah, bottom of page 2.
Okay.
And then the last amendment is just removing sections 20 and 21, which is where they had the appropriation and the authorization for positions for the Department of Housing and Community Development and the section related to all the appropriating of funds. So we're just removing those two sections, striking them out, and renumbering the last section to be the effective date. And there are no changes necessary to that section. And that is the end of your draft 1.1 substitute amendment.
Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing so far?
There's nothing left for appropriations in the bill. We just have to put them all in the.
Yes, sir.
And that included the taxes. Cameron came over to me at lunchtime and said, what about the tax credits? And it affects the revenue, which affects
Right.
spending.
Right.
I said, we need to take it out, and it's not unheard of for us to do this, Cameron, a good bill.
So I will just add to that, Madam Chair, if you do move those tax credits over into the budget, House Ways and Means was recommending sunsetting them, just commenting that. And then the only other comment, again, we have incorporated in your substitute amendment the request from Ways and Means to remove the municipal 1% short-term
Yeah,
rental.
no, that's, and that passed out of the committee in a way that they wanted that.
10-1-0.
Right, so I want to respect what the committee did. And so, with not having yet discussed this, obviously, with our committee, because we just learned about the fact, it would be my intent to respect as much of the amendment from Ways and Means as we can. So the sunset and the short-term rental local option tax, because that was their work and it just has to come into our amendment. So I'd like to we don't need to stick our finger in those pies. And so that the rest of it has the effect of. So the door keeps opening. I keep wondering who's coming in to see if it's somebody that needs to be part of this conversation. Yes. I think I want to confirm with the chair of Ways and Means that this is all right. And then we can vote. And that doesn't mean we have to go away. We have another bill coming up in a couple of minutes. So if we don't need Cameron anymore, do we need you, James, for anything? You came because you need to come to our committee.
I'm sure we had some clarification on the.
Why don't you come sit at the table? So.
The record, James Duffy, Joint Fiscal Office. And I'm just going to join the, I think it'll be helpful to have that table up behind me. Here today, we had some discussion in this committee yesterday about appropriations made in H479, the House General's Housing Bill versus appropriations proposed in the FY26 Governor's recommended budget for housing items. Yesterday, JFO gave testimony that the difference was just over 25 million. that still stands with the H 479 appropriations being $25.75 million greater than the governor's recommended budget. We just put together some additional detail
Do
on.
we have this?
Erin, is this posted on the website or not? I have the physical copies here to pass around that just came in. I can pass
Maybe
the
one of you
physical
pass
copies around if that's
copies.
for the committee.
Thank you.
Yeah. There'll be some more coming around from that direction. And I'm about to share this on my screen as well. What you have in front of you just provides more line item detail about what the differences in these appropriations are between the GovRec and H 479. So we testified yesterday, the difference was about $25 million between the GovRec and H 479. The exact number at the bottom right corner is $25.746 million. And you can see in the, so that difference is summarized on the far right hand of the table for each line item. The vast majority of these are greater in the House bill version than the GovRec, the one exception being the smaller appropriation in H 479 for the middle income homeownership development program and rental housing revolving fund.
Right.
And then the single biggest greater appropriation in H 479 over the GovRec would be the additional 25 million to the HCB, which is funding beyond base.
Right. Do we know if this is the sash that you've also, this isn't anywhere else in the GovRec, the 400,000, but we heard about it. Is there some in the GovRec?
There is appropriation for SASH match funds to AHS and to AHS for SASH match. But as far as we can tell from looking at the web report for the FY26 GovRec, that does not include this specific pilot program at AHS
The
for
web
cathedrals.
report, the web report doesn't always have the one time, so I think.
We looked through the one times, all the one times in the FY26 GovRec and as well as all the AHS
Okay,
appropriations, and the specific pilot for Cathedral Square doesn't
Okay.
appear. And that the number currently contained in the GovRec for that SASH program is several $1 million for state and federal match. And so it's not clear that this specific $400,000 pilot for a specific program would be included in that.
the leader program.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom.
So, and Representative Blooming, correct me too if I'm wrong here, but the number that's appeared most in the documents that we've received, I can't say exactly where they show up in a lot of the recommendations, is 2.4 million.
Right.
So this, the $400,000 for this pilot, but it's called a pilot program. It's been an existing program. They call it a pilot program because it keeps it in this funding purpose
Right,
here. So that's for Brattleboro.
yes.
And then the $2 million was the proposal to expand it further.
New
So there's
Northeast
two
Kingdom.
different uses for the 2.4.
That's right.
And the 400 is for keeping the Brattleboro
That's right.
program, which has been going on for several years.
Right.
Active. And then the 2 million again would be for new.
That's how I understand it. It's really very helpful to have this, James. I tried putting together a spreadsheet and it wasn't nearly as nice as this. It's more clear. Yeah, Jim.
So this is very helpful to trying to understand the differences in all the different buckets. Can I assume from this, because I'm not seeing it, that there is no, in this bill, additional money for VHCB other than what is in the big bill for the formula? It don't look like the committee touched VHCB. Where?
See, this is sort of backwards. So they had a bill here and then the governor, and so it was 25 million right here.
Okay.
That was their
Question for you, is that 25 million plus what was carried forward in the BAA and the treasury money
Yeah,
bond?
that was, well, originally that bill was gonna be out before we were dealing with this bill, so that's a completely separate amount. That was gonna be part of fiscal year 25 money. And this is all 6 money, so,
So,
if we were to do it, if we were to do both things.
yeah,
There would be the 8.6 in the budget adjustment plus this 25. So 2 separate appropriations. Yep.
okay, thank you.
Other questions about what we see in here? So what we will do once I hear back from the chair of House Ways and Means, who hopefully is okay with what we're doing, I appreciate the thought that went into that. Is that we would vote on the amendment to strip the money out of this bill, and then we would pass the bill. And then as part of our discussion of the numbers, now that we have clarity, this sort of goes into do we want to talk about, what are the pieces we want to talk about? And that will be a separate conversation than the bill itself. Okay?
So we're not gonna.
We're not making any decisions on this right now. Yeah, but I want to be sure that we all understand what's on this sheet, because these guys aren't going to be hanging around our committee room, much as fun as it would be, they're not going to hang around the committee room all of it.
We won't be too far away. Madam Chair.
Right, okay. So any questions for James on what's on here now?
No, like I said, this is.
No,
very helpful.
good. So okay, I think we don't need anything more clarifying at this point. I think we will not vote until I hear back from the chair. So thank you both. We'll be in touch if we need you. Appreciate your responsiveness to this. We're going to go to our next bill. Joe Grady, would you like to come take a seat? Monitors feeding Vermonters, H-167.
Do you want anything on the screen, or do you just want to work off of your devices?
Let's see, do we have anything? The amendment is posted. Looks pretty. Does everybody have it? I think we're good, Mike. You can just talk to us.
Okay, so you reviewed the establishment of the Vermonters Feeding Vermonters program yesterday, and you requested that the money that was in it be struck, and in its place, a section making the program effective contingent on funding for the program. And that's what the amendment in front of you does.
This looks like the language that we got a lot last year, doesn't it,
It
Jim?
does,
That's
so then just,
right, then stripping it out. We've often said that.
we should just direct everybody.
To this, yeah, exactly.
Is this the preferred way or not?
No, in a
I think
good
we
way.
like this. We like this.
Okay.
In a good way, others are just the section.
Oh, yeah.
We like the contingent part.
Right, so what we're doing here is we're approving, this is a question, sorry.
Yeah. Are what we doing?
Is what we're doing. We're approving the notion of the policy to go into base to become a program that we're going to continue. And then funding comes only if it's available.
Only if it's available.
Right.
And it may or may not be in the base, because where we give the money.
But I'm not saying the H-167 is in H-167 proposing to make this.
It makes it a program at the agency.
Okay.
Like any program for any agency, they can come forward with that money in their proposal and their base. And you can accept that or amend that, or you can decide outside of their budget proposal to add money to that program. The Working Lands Enterprise Board is a perfect example of that. Every year it's in the agency's budget, but you modify that pretty much annually.
We can put money in one time, even if it's a base.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm just saying that this is because it's been since 2017 or 2018 since the program was started.
Right.
It's been one time ask, up until now, or So I just want to clarify, if we pass 167, we're approving the notion of the program and funding it only when funding becomes available.
Right.
Okay.
Am I correct? Is that
I don't, yes, that's correct.
from what you see?
The program will be in statute
Correct.
if you pass this with this contingency language. And the agency would not have to implement it until it received funding for that.
So it would just,
program.
it would sit there until,
Right.
less than until money came through for it specifically. Any questions about that? So, are people comfortable on voting on an amendment and then on the bill as amended? Okay. Trevor's got his piece of paper already. Is it for this bill?
Yes.
All right. So I would entertain a motion to approve amendment draft 1.1 on H 167.
So moved.
And second, okay. Great, John, Tom and John. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, when the clerk is ready?
Representative Blumenle,
Yes.
Representative Dickinson,
Yes.
Representative Harrison,
Yes.
Representative Ken Sunscott,
Yes.
Representative Roche.
Yes.
Representative Rose,
Yeah.
Representative Nigro,
Yes.
Representative Squirrel, yes, Representative Stevens.
Yes.
Representative Yakoni,
Yes.
Representative Shaw.
Yes.
11-0.
And now I would entertain a motion to approve H 167, and then I'm looking, was it
As amended.
as amended by us? As amended by,
It's amended by you.
as amended by House Appropriations. So as amended, approve H 167 as amended.
There's no other amendment.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did somebody move that? John? Thank you. Okay,
And I'll second the meeting.
okay, thank you. Any further questions? If not,
Representative Blumenle,
yes.
Representative Dickinson,
Yes.
Representative Harrison,
Yes.
Representative Ken Sunscott,
Yes.
Representative Roche,
Yes.
Representative Wilkie,
Yes.
Representative Nigro,
Yes.
Representative Squirrel, yes, Representative Stevens,
Yes.
Representative Yakoni,
Yes.
and Representative Shaw.
Yes, thank you.
11-0.
11-0, and so that's Tom's. I just heard from the chair, wait. You too, we hope you have one. All right. I heard from the chair of Ways and Means, who was fine with our going ahead with the amendment back on 479 that Cameron presented to us 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yes,
Procedure question,
yes.
given that the language that you like in the amendment, I want to. Do we need to go back to others that we pass out in or similar language? Or do we-
We'll just leave it.
Okay.
We'll just leave it.
Here on in.
Now that was the 6th bill. Yeah. We got it figured out. So are we ready, since Ways and Means is fine with the amendment that replaces their amendment? Are we ready to vote? Can we vote on this and vote this out? So can I get a motion to approve draft 1.1 of the Appropriations Committee substitute amendment for the report of the Committee on Ways and Means? Okay, thank you.
Second. Second.
Yeah, but I'll say,
Okay.
We're just so programmed,
I
even
know,
though
I
it sounds
know.
like it's not true, we don't need it, but any further discussion on the amendment? Okay, seeing none, when the clerk is ready. Please call the roll.
Representative Blumenle,
Yes.
Representative Dickinson,
Trying to read to make sure that I'm getting.
Representative Harrison,
yes.
Representative Kaczynski.
Yes.
Representative LaRoche.
Yes.
Representative Rowicki.
Yes.
Representative Nigro.
Yes.
Representative Squirrel, yes. Representative Stevens.
Yes.
Representative Yakavoni.
Yes.
Representative Shaw.
Yes?
Representative Dickinson.
Yes.
That's,
There was a lot there.
that's the amendment. And then is there a motion to approve the, I don't remember if this was.
You got the amendment?
Well, no, wait, I just, we have the,
The bill as amended,
yes,
I don't know, I'm finding it too, here it is, okay. The,
it would have been, was it a committee bill?
I would think it is.
You think it is?
It's like their housing, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, it probably is.
let's see, well, so it was introduced by the committee, and then if we look at Ways and Means.
They had an amendment.
Ways and Means had an amendment. So we've now replaced their amendment with our amendment, and the rest is the committee bill without amendment.
So, I think the motion would be that we favorably report page 479 as amended by Ways and Means, because the Housing Committee is a new bill, so they don't have any amendment if I.
So, no, but we replaced Ways and Means.
Yeah, wouldn't
It's as
our,
amended by HAC.
wouldn't our amendment supersede that
Our amendment now supersedes theirs,
Just as amended.
by us?
or as amended.
As amended, does it?
It
If our amendment is striking, it's
replaces,
substituted, so it's striking it,
Right.
not replacing it, so. And we just approved that amendment.
it's the bill from general and housing as amended.
There won't be an amendment from from Ways.
Which means that's just gone. It's like it never existed.
Yeah, I know,
But we're amending it.
No, we are.
By deleting it.
and that's what,
No,
that's,
we're
yeah.
substituting our amendment.
It's a
Different
subs-
thing.
it's
It's
a
a substitution, just to confuse things. We haven't done this before.
Oh,
I will go.
So
Why don't we,
why don't we
give me
say
a
it's
general
a-
idea here, and I will go talk to someone about.
Betsy Ann can tell you
Yeah.
exactly because she was involved in this, but I believe we're now at, forget Ways and Means, it's now our amendment.
Exactly.
As amended.
And so I think it's as amended.
so they just withdraw their amendment then?
No, we substituted ours.
Um,
No, it's as amended, because since we substituted, their amendment is no longer exists.
I think she's right. But
Yeah, no, I-
I'll double check.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve H 479 as amended?
I'll move,
Okay.
but do I have to say the special words?
No. Magic words.
So let's see if I can learn, you don't have to.
Okay.
Look at the chair.
Trevor comes up with the words.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, they'll find the correct wording of
I'll
this.
figure it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Representative Bloomley,
Yes.
Representative Dickinson,
Yes.
Representative Harrison.
Yes.
Representative Kaczynski,
Yes.
Representative LaRoche,
Yes.
Representative Rowicki,
Yes.
Representative Nigro,
Yes.
Representative Squirrel, yes, Representative Stevens,
Yes.
Representative Yakavoni,
Yes.
Representative Shaw.
Yes.
That's 11-0-0 and the other part.
To.
Yes.
And give me a corner. Okay, yeah. Thank you all. We have now passed out. I think all the bills we're gonna pass out for today. That's the plan. So now we're gonna go back to the budget. We have. It's not gonna be there. There are some things that may crop up. With some funny language things, I will let you know when I know exactly what's happening. There's been a request about something. We may get an attorney in. We are gonna have, when do we have Bryn coming in?
2:00.
Okay, so one of the things we're doing, and you've heard me talk about this before, is that there's been work done on, given what's happening in Washington, expanding the authority for the Joint Fiscal Committee and the E-Board if things happen off session. And so, Bryn, Hare, who heads up Budget Council, is gonna come in and talk about it. And I think is Emily coming in too?
Yes.
Okay. Kornheiser, I don't know, and Emily Byrne, wait, could you hear the IE in the way I said that one? And then this is Emily with the Y, you can hear it, right? I think we'll have a couple of Emilys and Brandon talking about that, so that will come, but do we have other language we want to talk about before then, Emily? Is Grady available to show us anything at this point?
He was still working on some stuff at the office. Otherwise, to go off